to the video. So, for some reason, as you can probably tell by the title, I decided that it would be a good idea to try to make a outfit or dress out of entirely foraged or farmed materials. So the inspiration for this was initially I literally just needed to do an independent study for one of my last classes for school because my schedule didn't work. But yeah, I don't know, I got to thinking, and I've always loved fashion and also nature. Last year I took a intro sewing apparel structuring class, and then this year I just finished taking a forestry class, both of those which are outside of my major. So I wanted to kind of bring those things together and see what I could do. So when I was initially doing research, I actually found this artist who was growing roots into shapes that she wanted to make clothes, which is awesome. That did not end up seeming super feasible for me to do. And then obviously there's all the traditional older methods of making clothing and cloth from flax or other plants, but those things would take tools that I did not have, and though I had the whole semester, that was not going to be enough time to do all that, if that makes sense. So I had to kind of think outside the box. And eventually what I decided to try was, well, so for one, I saw a video here on YouTube of someone making paper from grass, just regular grass, and I thought that was super cool. And so I was like, okay, well, what if I did that from leaves? Because they're sort of paper already. So, and you're paper, that's just clothes. But I was like, well, maybe I could use the paper as a kind of fabric. And then I had learned to crochet over last summer, just incidentally. I was like, oh my god, I could totally crochet long grass or something. So those were my initial ideas. Yeah, let's see how they panned out. The first thing I did once I had done a little preliminary research was to make a document sort of listing out everything I had to do. So most of the leaves that I've collected from my yard are sugar maple leaves, or Acer saccharum in the Sapindaceae family, because those are the trees that I have in my yard. And they should hopefully give the paper a nice red color, so that will be interesting to see how that turns out. Okay, I know this is not typical foraging, but State has a bunch of grass planted that's all brown this time of year, and they're totally just gonna cut it down. So I thought I would take advantage of that. Okay, I'm totally getting looks just carrying my grass, but that's okay. In my parents' backyard, my mom has this really tall grass that grows every year, and so here I am cutting down some of that to use. So I folded my first piece in half, and then you have to take the upper strand and twist it, I think away from you, and then you twist it down the other one, so they're twisted in an opposite direction, and that's how you get the rope. I imagine this will start to look, I was doing it wrong at first. Hopefully my later ones will look much better than this one, but yeah. Okay, so some of the bigger stuff is kind of brittle and thick, and so I think I may have to either make bigger rope or not use the end pieces there. So we shall see, but yeah. Okay, so I'm using like this part of the grass and it's working a lot better. And I'm trying to twist it really, like, sorry for the camera movement, really tightly. So hopefully the like dried grass will work, but I might have to like split it up into, it's more of individual fibers, but yeah. So this is from session 1 of making cordage. Okay, so I tried using some of the dried grass and I don't know, it's pretty brittle, and then the top is just like making a huge mess. So I might just stick to the fresh. For the leaf paper, I had never made paper before, and so I didn't have any of the supplies, but I didn't like super want to go out and buy a molten decal. And so my college has an art studio, and so I went and found like an old crusty screen printing screen to see if I could use that for the paper making. Okay, so the screen printing screens are too fine, though like the water doesn't drain enough. So not really sure what I'm gonna do about that. I might have to just go out and buy an actual paper screen thing, which is fine, and I probably should have done in the first place, but yeah. Okay, so I went to the lovely MSU surplus store and I have procured an old window screen. So I took out the original screen from the screen printing screen, and I think I'm gonna cut, like with an X-Acto knife, this screen and then try to attach it, staple it perhaps, to this board, because this is way too big. As you can see, I did not end up stapling the screen to the board. I ended up using a whole bunch of pins, and that is because me and my classmate, who happened to be in the art studio at the time, could not figure out how to use the staple guns that were there. So pins it was. Okay, so unfortunately this is the biggest blender I have. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the leaves in here with some warm water, blending them up and turning them into delicious soup. Alright, I don't really know how much I'm gonna need, but I got some more leaves, which is, you know, very easy because my yard is quite literally covered in them, so. Okay, so I may have broken my blender. The stems, so these leaves are wet, and they're not as brittle, and the stems were getting caught around the blender blades, and then it kind of stopped running. So yeah, we might just have to kind of put more water in here and go for it. Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, so it's kind of not working. Yeah, I'm gonna go try to do some more research, I guess. Okay, so as you can see, that wasn't super working. Part of it might have been my blender, but the like leaf particles were just like too big and none of it was sticking, and I didn't have the right tool because I'd never made paper before. Yeah, so I went back and did some research, and first I was looking at the video, so I had mentioned earlier that I found someone who made paper from grass, and they also actually tried it from leaves. And as I was watching that, I realized that I had not done a lot of steps that they had. Because I was like, how hard can this be? Very hard. But also, even after all that, once they had made the paper, only some of it turned out, and it was really fragile. And so, partly because I was kind of done with my leaf soup, but also because of that, it just seemed like this maybe wasn't gonna work super well. So I had to find a new idea. And one day, and also I should mention, I initially wanted to make the like skirt portion of a dress out of the paper by like layering the rectangles in like like to make like a handkerchief style skirt, if that makes any sense. And then crocheting a top out of the grass. But I kind of switched to having maybe grass skirt and leaf top because my new idea that I thought of was inspired by a little craft that I did when I was little, where you took real or plastic leaves and you like Mod Podged them to a bowl, and then when it dried you'd have a bowl made of leaves. And I was like, bowl, bra cup, how different are they? And so I wanted to try that, but the issue was I didn't want to use Mod Podge because that's not a foraged thing. And so I was looking to see like what kind of material that I could get would work for glue, and it turns out that pine tree sap or resin is and was used for glue. Now generally you mix like charcoal and like some other like organic matter in there, but yeah, I decided to try that. So I started trying to crochet with the grass, and it's definitely working. I'm using this like really big needle or hook so that it's just like too brittle, and I think doing it really fine would not work, and this will make it take less time as well. So yeah, I'm glad that works, at least for now. Okay, so I know you guys saw me making or starting to make like crochet like after I had made the rope with the grass, but I didn't actually end up doing anything with it, and that is because, well, one, as earlier I had noticed that using dry grass versus fresh did not work as well, but as it all sat, it just got drier and drier, and so when I was starting to crochet with it, it just like kept breaking. Like I kept having to tie pieces back together, and the like, as you can sort of see, the like bit of crochetedness material that I ended up with was like, I mean, did not resemble fabric, was just like the scratchiest, brittlest, breakiest, strangest little piece, and I did not have enough material or like rope made to make like an item out of it, really, and so unfortunately I ended up kind of ditching that idea. I think maybe in the future, if I could find like, grass isn't really what people actually use to make rope. It's usually like, I think nettle is one of them, or sorry, I think dog mane, maybe both. That's like, the fibers are different, and so maybe one day I will try to crochet with grass again, but for this it wasn't really working and I was running out of time. So I lucked out and my boyfriend had this whole huge bag of resin or pine sap from when he was in Boy Scouts that he never used. So I'm using one of my bras to be the mold for the top. I've covered it in plastic wrap. I feel like this is gonna go badly. We might need to, this might not be the solution. Okay, I swapped the cling wrap for wax paper because that like can actually get hot in the oven and stuff. But now it is time, so this is just our resin. And we need to add charcoal and then some cat fur that I think maybe I can cut off our like couch when we used to have a cat. So this is gonna be, okay, yeah, we're actually not gonna film the charcoal because it's gonna be real messy. All right, we got some ancient nasty cat fur. And then I added more resin because I was concerned that I added too much charcoal. This feels like this is like exactly like making cushions. This is awesome. I had to open our windows because this is creating like so much smoke. And if our fire alarm goes off, we have to like call the fire department. It's a whole thing. But yeah, we got goop. So I'm thinking we dip the leaves in the goop, paste them on here. This is truly the most unhinged thing I have ever done. The big sycamore leaves are falling, so that's super exciting. Look at that. Very useful, hopefully. Nothing is working, nothing is sticking. I don't have clothes. I don't have an outfit. Alright, so as you can see, the tree sap bra top was not working either. And at this point, it was coming really close to the end of the semester. Since the initial idea had used Mod Podge, I decided to give in a little bit and try to use that. I know it's not foraged, but the leaves still are, so it's still kind of, I don't know. I was running out of ideas and time. So yeah, watch to see how that goes. Please dry. Okay, so it's about 3:30 the next day. It's looking sort of solid. I think I want to let it dry a little longer, but this is decidedly more promising. I peeled it off the plastic wrap and that off my bra, and so obviously the inside is still very wet, so I'm gonna let that dry, but it's looking good. Okay, so I've been using these little like eyelet thingies to make like little things where like my grass string can go through. This side, as you can see, wants me dead. And also I know they're not forged. I'm sorry, shut up. But hopefully this time it works so that I can put it on. Isn't that satisfying? I have the top on. I mean, obviously I have a bra under it so I don't like flash anyone, and also it's like super scratchy. But look, oh, I've tied it in the back. Yeah, it's made of leaves. Yay. If I actually wear this anywhere, which I might to like run fair or something, I'd probably honestly replace the grass with ribbon just because it's really brittle and I don't want it to break and fall off. But yay, we did it. It's not perfect. It's not what I originally had in mind, but I'm wearing an article of clothing. Yay! All right, so it is the day before the end of the semester. And obviously everything did not go all to plan, but I managed to make something, and that's really what I wanted to do. So yeah, I mean, I didn't make a whole outfit, certainly, and the thing I actually ended up making did not take like the whole time I spent doing stuff. And you know, most of my initial plans did not work, but this was mostly about learning and trying stuff. I was doing kind of weird, unprecedented methods. So yeah, I don't know. And I also like was kind of, I don't know, I had never done any of these things before, so I don't know that I like was able to do them. Like I had never made paper before and I was like, let's make fabric out of leaves. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I think this turned out really fun. I was able to incorporate grass and leaves into an item of clothing that I can wear, which I'm super happy about. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this can be inspiration for you all to go try out things. There's a bunch of people and videos that I watched that were inspiring to me for this project and articles I read, so I might try to link those somewhere. I think now that I know what, like, that I can make a top from leaves and like what works, I might, maybe with slightly less restrictions, sort of try again to make something a little more wearable, although I think I can wear this. But yeah, I'm excited to keep creating. Obviously, like, I did end up having to use Mod Podge, and I used some, like, I don't think I had to do this, but like the little metal grommets. So I wasn't able to like entirely forage my outfit in the time constraints and such and so and budget and whatever that I had. But it is, I don't know, I still made it primarily out of leaves that I found, which is still, I don't know, to me, cooler than like just buying fabric. So yeah, I don't know, I'm still happy with it. Thanks for watching and coming along on this journey with me. Bye!